Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We've got another Mahindra tractor video. I made an original video a long time ago when I first got the tractor about all the features and just kind of did a walk around. And many of you requested an update. You know, after I'd been using it for a while, what I thought, what I liked, what I didn't like, all that type of stuff. So I've put about 55 hours on the tractor. I know that's not a lot for most people, but I don't use the tractor all day, every day. But for what I need it for, it's been great. So I just did the 50-hour maintenance service. I made another video with that, so make sure you check that out. But I'm just going to go around and point out a few things that I really like and a few things that maybe not so much. So the number one and probably the number two, these might be tied for the two things that I like most about the Mahindra tractor. Number one is the lift capacity, and number two, the price. Guys, unless you're just in love or married with orange or green paint, there is absolutely nothing wrong with getting this Mahindra tractor. Actually, in this class, this is a 26 or 25.9, whatever, horsepower tractor. If you look up all the numbers, this thing will easily outlift a Kubota. It will easily outlift a John Deere, and for half the price. Even used Kubotas, when I was shopping around for this tractor, the used Kubotas around me were double what I paid brand new for this. So, you know, again, if I was going to be on this tractor all day, every day, if I was a full-time farmer, maybe I would make a different decision. But for what I need, for the price, the lift capacity, this tractor has been amazing. Love it so far. Let's flip the camera around here a little bit. So one thing that I don't love is the speed at which you can lift and lower the 3-point hitch in the back. Now I know there is an adjustment for that. That's that little knob right there. You definitely want to make sure that you're, of course we're getting interrupted. You definitely want to make sure that you're adjusting that properly, especially if you're using a post hole digger. You don't want to be slamming that into the ground too quickly, but still at it still doesn't move as up and down as slowly and as smoothly as I would like it to. The other thing with the 3-point hitch is I wish that you could lower it further than you can lower it. And the reason I say that is you can see here, I've got a quick hitch attachment with my ballast box. I had to basically create this little stand here to make this easy to attach and unattach this when need to. Otherwise, it was really difficult, sometimes impossible in certain situations, to lower this low enough to get underneath and attach this easily. This little toolbox is kind of cheap and kind of small. I wish there was something a little bit bigger there. I'm probably going to modify that shortly. One other thing that I have grown to love is the shuttle shift. Now, when I first was looking into tractors, that's when I got educated that there were two different kinds. There's the hydrostat, which is kind of like your automatic, and then there's the shuttle shift, which is kind of gear forward and reverse. And it really depends on what you're going to be using this tractor for. So for me, I find it helpful because it's a lot easier to drive if you got to drive any type of distance. You know, you're not having to mess with the pedals. I will say this, if you're going to be doing a lot of front end loader work, a lot of bucket work, a lot of quick moving forward, quick moving in reverse, this shuttle shift is super annoying because I've had to do that once or twice. And especially if you're on any type of incline and you're doing bucket work, this thing sucks. But for everything else, I highly recommend the shuttle shift. It's been great. I'm glad I didn't go with the hydrostat. One big thing that I do not like is this placement right here. So this is basically how you shift it in and out of all-wheel or four-wheel drive, whatever you want to call it. The reason I don't like that is because you are supposed to press down the clutch when you shift in and out of that. Well, that's really difficult because it would be so much easier if you either one, didn't have to push the clutch and you could just use your foot to press that down or kind of kick it up. Or two, if they put it in a different position where you weren't having to press down with your left leg and then also lean down with your left hand and reach that. You know, right now, it's not that big of a deal, but maybe in 5 years or 10 years when I'm a little bit older and I don't have as much flexibility, or, you know, if my back's hurting, that's going to be super difficult to do. So I hate that placement. I wish they would put it anywhere else, or I don't know, make it a switch, make it where you don't need the clutch, something, just to make that whole system a whole lot easier. Another thing here, we're going to walk around and I can show you on the other side. And yes, you can see I have cat litter everywhere because if you go watch my other video where I changed or did the 50-hour service, made a huge mess with the hydraulic fluid, so soaking that up right now. On the 1626, your parking brake is right here, and to engage that is super annoying. It doesn't always catch. You gotta usually try 2, 3, 4 times to get that to catch. And I wish on this instrument panel, let me get up here so I can show you easier. On your panel here, you've got all these little indicators here. I think there's 10 that show you different, you know, God forbid your check engine light comes on or whatever. I wish, and it looks like this one right here, it's got a P with some kind of marking on it. I wish that would light up when your parking brake was engaged, just to remind you, especially if you're working on an incline and you're getting up and down a lot off the tractor and you're engaging and you're disengaging your parking brake a lot. It would be nice to have some kind of visual or even an audio reminder that your parking brake is engaged, because the last thing you want to do is have that engaged and forget and continue on about your business and start doing work. I mean, you're going to realize pretty quickly, but it would be nice to have some kind of visual or annoying little buzzer to say, hey, your parking brake is engaged. So I wish they would fix the ease of use of engaging that, as well as give you some kind of indication on your panel. All right, so what else? What else do I love about it? What else do I hate about it? I mean, really not much, guys. I love the tractor. It's been great for what I need it for, other than those 2 minor annoyances with the parking brake and the 4-wheel drive lever. That's really about it. I've not run into any other issues. The only other issue that if I would go back and change is I would have probably gotten a bigger tractor that could lift more. I originally was going to get something even smaller than this, and the sales guy, and I don't think he was being salesy at all. We talked about what I was trying to accomplish and why I needed a tractor, and he recommended going from the little tiny yard tractor to one of these, and I'm so glad that I did. But if I had to do it all over again, if I'm giving advice to somebody that's looking to get a tractor for the very first time, overkill is probably going to be better. Get a more tractor than you think you need. Get a tractor that can lift more than you think that you're going to lift. I'll make another video here pretty soon. We just cleared out a ton of trees, and I had to cut down some ginormous oak trees, cut them up in sections. We may sell them to the Amish or whatever. I'm not really sure yet. But the tractor did great carrying most of them, but a couple of them were, it struggled, and there was a couple that it just couldn't lift, and I had to cut them up into smaller sections. So for situations like that, you know, sometimes I wish that it had a little bit more oomph, but for most of the time, for what I need, it's great. One other thing I totally forgot about this is I wish that I had originally bought a tractor that had this, or it was easier to set up, and that is the third function, the hydraulic third function, which would allow you to have a grapple on the front, because right now with your hydraulic, you can go up and down and you can tilt forward and back, but you have nothing that'll allow you to have a grapple. Now, I got a quote to add that, and there's 2 ways that you can go about it. You can actually have a third function added to the tractor that's a fully functional third function kit, or whatever you want to call it, and they are insanely expensive. And then on top of that, the grapples aren't cheap either. There are other kits that's kind of like a bypass, which is much more affordable, but they're not cheap either. Hey, kitty cat. And what they allow you to do, I think you install them like right here, and you basically have a button which, instead of tilting left or tilting, allows you to open and close or something like that. There are other options, but they're not cheap. So that's the only other thing that I wish this had. But on a tractor this size, this small, you know, grapple work probably isn't what most people are getting this tractor for. But again, when you're doing a lot of tree work, the pallet forks work pretty good. A grapple would just make things a little bit easier. But anyway, overall, guys, there's really not too much to complain. If you're in the market for a tractor and you don't want to spend a fortune, or you're not going to be a full-time farmer, or even if you are, if you don't want to spend a fortune, you want a good lift capacity, I can't speak enough about this Mahindra. Now, some of the stuff that's online where people are complaining, customer service, or if they need parts, sometimes it's been a struggle. Thankfully, I've not run into that yet. But yeah, I can't really, there's not much for me to say as far as dislikes. I know, buddy. So yeah, like I was saying, if you guys are in the market for a Mahindra, check out the Mahindra 1626. They also have multiple other sizes. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, any comments, if you want me to do anything else, any other type of tractor videos, if you have any certain requests, make sure to leave those in the comments down below. Guys, we will see you in the next video. Take care.